Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the Limitation Act 1963, which is the introductory part to the Act, discussing on the extent of the Act, commencement of the Act, and the important definitions which are related to the Act. The Limitation Act 1963 is the Act which governs the time period within which one can file a suit to sue another and to get justice. If the suit is filed after the expiration of the time period as specified in this Act, then it is said to be barred by limitation. However, there are certain provisions for the condonation of delay. The first limitation law came into force in 1859 and it was into operation in 1862. There were various developments on this Limitation Act and now it has its form as the Limitation Act 1963, which was enacted in the 5th of October 1963 and it came into force in the 1st of January 1964. However, it was named as the Limitation Act 1963 and not 64 in subsection 1 of section 1 under this Act. Before the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act in 2019 came into force, the Act extended to the whole of India except for Jammu and Kashmir. But after 31st of October 2019, when Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act was enacted, then the Home Ministry declared that the Limitation Act was among the 37 acts that will be applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. Moving on to the next section, Section 2. Section 2 includes the definition. The first definition that we are going to deal with is that of the applicant. An applicant includes the person who moves to the court to restore the infringed rights legally and files a petition. Who is it? The petitioner. And also any person from or through whom an applicant derives his right to apply. It's a bit confusing, I know, but this point is very much clearly described in the next subclause. That is, in case of estate, if any person is an executor, an administrator or a legal representative, then he is the applicant. Here the representative means the legal heir or any person who has expressly given such right by any registered document like a will. In the other cases, it is popularly the legal heir. Moving on to the next definition, that is application. Application includes petition. Petition is the written request which is produced before the court or tribunal praying for the claim so mentioned. The next definition is that of the bill of exchange. The bill of exchange includes hundi and check. So what is hundi? Hundi is an unconditional order in writing made by a person directing another to pay a certain sum of money to the person in whose name the order is being issued. It is kind of similar to check. What do we do in check? We write a check, we issue it in the name of someone, and we direct the bank to pay a certain sum of money to that person in whose name the check is being issued. The bank then takes the direction and from particular my account, he pays that certain sum of money. But check is being recognized in the Negotiable Instruments Act as a formal order. But hundi is not a formal order and it has not been recognized in the Negotiable Instruments Act. Moving on to the next definition, that is the definition of bond. What is a bond? Bond includes an instrument whereby a person binds himself to pay a certain sum of money to another on the condition that he had promised to do a certain act, but he could not perform that particular act. The next definition is that of a defendant. Defendant is the person from whom the petitioner seeks to restore his rights. The defendant can include the legal representative, and in case of an estate, it also includes the executor and the administrator. Moving on to the next definition, that is the definition of easement. Easementary rights does not arise out of a contract, but it arises out of usage. How is that? If I am residing in a particular property for a prolonged period of time, or I am using a certain part of that property which doesn't belong to me for a prolonged period of time, which is specified in this particular act, then such right is the easementary act. This becomes my right over the period of time. You will understand it in the latter sections of the Limitation Act. The next definition is that of a foreign country. Foreign country is any other country which is not India. The next definition is that of good faith. Good faith is an act which is done with due care and attention. The next definition that we will deal with is that of a plaintiff. Plaintiff is the one who seeks for the remedy, and it includes the legal representative, and in case of estate, it is the executor, administrator, and any other representative. So now there might be a confusion as to who is a plaintiff, who is a petitioner, and who is the applicant. There's no worry, I'll just explain it in a simplified manner. Say, a petitioner is the one who files the petition. For example, if there is an issue which involves a large number of laborers, there is a labor dispute, A is also a laborer to that particular company. A decides to move to the court to restore his rights as a laborer. Then A files a petition. He is the petitioner. But in that particular petition, the other laborers or employees will also have the right. Whatever may be, whatever right that he is claiming, the other employees or other laborers will also get that particular right. So here comes the role of the petitioner and the plaintiff. Petitioner is the one who moves to the court to ask for the remedy, and the plaintiff is the one who seeks the relief. In this particular case, in the suit, there will be the name of everyone as a plaintiff, but the petitioner will be the one, that is A, who has filed for the petition. And now, who is the applicant? The petitioner or the plaintiff who has moved to the court to seek for the relief. Okay? The court doesn't take the cognizance of that particular matter. Until the court takes cognizance of the matter, that petitioner or the plaintiff will remain as an applicant. So now I think it is a bit clear. We will move on to the next definition. The definition is the period of limitation. The period of limitation prescribed for any suit, application, or any appeal is in accordance to this Act. And there are certain provisions from section 4 to 24 which decides the period of limitation, and also there is a schedule which will specifically say what is the limitation period for a particular suit, application, or appeal. Moving on to the next definition, the definition of promissory note. What is a promissory note? Promissory note means an instrument where a maker engages absolutely to pay a specified sum of money to another, and therein limited or on demand or at sight. The next definition is that of a suit. What is a suit? Suit is the document which doesn't involve any application or any appeal. Moving on to the next definition, the definition of tort. Tort means any civil wrong which is exclusively the breach of contract or breach of trust. The next definition is that of a trustee. Here, rather than defining who is a trustee, the Act specifically mentions who is not a trustee. Firstly, we need to understand who is a trustee. A trustee is an individual person or a member of the board gives control or power of administering that particular property in trust with the legal obligation to solely administer for the purposes so specified. The Act mentions that a mortgagee remaining in the possession of a mortgaged property even after the mortgage is satisfied is a wrongful possession and a possession without title, and he is not a trustee. So, by interpreting this particular part, we understand that in all other cases where the mortgagee is in a rightful possession and with title, he is also considered to be a trustee under this Act. So with this, we come to the end of the video. I hope it was helpful to you, and hopefully we will catch up in the next video where we will discuss about the limitation periods for suits, appeals and for applications. Thank you.